What is up, y'all? Odeed here once again, aka Big Jake, and today I'm going to show you guys how to reverse sear a tri-tip on a Weber Kettle grill. Let's go ahead and get the video started. Alright y'all, so here's our tri-tip. This is about a 2.5 pound tri-tip. Pretty nice looking tri-tip. I just grabbed it from like a supermarket. It's got some nice striations of fat in here, which will of course give some really nice flavor. And there's a little bit of like trimming I'm going to do. A couple things I'm going to do is get rid of this fat here and probably this fat over here on the side. So yeah, that's really about it for this side. Let's flip it over. And then normally what I do is I usually keep my fat caps on my tri-tips because I am either cooking on my Mac pellet smoker or I'm cooking on my Weber Smoky Mountain. And the heat comes from the bottom and I like this fat to kind of like protect the meat. But seeing as I'm going to reverse sear this and it's gonna be in my Weber Kettle, I'm gonna take this fat off. Basically won't need this fat because your heat source will be coming from the side. And then of course when you do the sear part of the reverse sear method that I'm going to show you, you'll want to get the meat completely seared. It'll give you a nice flavor. You can kind of pick the meat up and just try to get just the fat if you can, obviously, as opposed to cutting off meat. All right, y'all, so I think that'll work for me. It's obviously not perfect, but this is backyard grilling, and I think that's pretty clean. So the next step, we are gonna put some rub on. And you can use pretty much whatever kind of beef rub or tri-tip rub you normally use. You could even just use garlic, salt, and pepper if you want. Pat it in. This is my Big Jake's tri-tip rub. I'm not selling this one quite yet, but I'll probably start selling it pretty soon, so keep you guys posted. All right, and that's really all the prep you have to do at this point. Put it in a food saver bag or a Ziploc bag. We're gonna let it sit in the fridge overnight, and then we'll come back tomorrow and I'll show you the next step. All right, y'all, it is the next day. Let's get this Weber Kettle fired up. And what I'm basically gonna do is take a chimney starter here. I got it filled up about 3/4 of the way. And let's get some of this lump charcoal here burned down to basically like lit coals. And then we'll go from there. Also, just a little like life hack tip. You can use your old charcoal bags to start your charcoal with. Works really well. Also one of these little crack lighters, as I call them, little butane torches. So yeah, let's get this lit and we'll be back. All right, y'all, that lump charcoal is about, I'd say, 3/4 of the way burned down. So we're gonna go ahead and dump it into one side of the grill. So we basically want two zones in here, one where there's a fire and then one where there is no fire. By the way, I'm using these like heat resistant gloves. If you want some of these, you can get them on my Amazon storefront. In fact, pretty much everything that I use is available through my Amazon storefront. The link will be in the description, go check it out. All right, put your grate on. By the way, I have the grate where you can kind of flip up the side grate here if you want to add wood chunks, which I'm going to do in a little bit. For now, let's put the lid on. By the way, I have the vents all the way open. I like to cook hot and I like to cook clean. And you want to put the side of the dome facing where the meat's going to be because you're initially going to put the meat on this side away from the heat and do an indirect cook. This will be the first process in the reverse sear. So let's let this thing come up to temp and then we'll put the meat on. All right, pit has come up to temp. We are almost at 400 degrees. Now some of you may be saying, man, that's really hot, but don't even worry about it. We're going to set the meat over here on this side. That way you kind of do a little bit of an indirect thing and you don't burn the meat. Because the first thing we want to do is almost roast it inside of the grill here, and we're going to put some wood chunks on. So we're really going for wood smoke flavor first off. Again, put this on the opposite side. Then I have like some what I would say are very, very small wood chunks or super small splits. I would use wood chunks versus say like chips, because the chips will probably burn up real fast. And yeah, this just for me works better. That's probably enough. And we'll throw this one in there too. All right, so we got the wood chunks in there, and again, right now we're gonna go for smoked flavor, and we're not searing the meat. We're kind of like almost roasting it, like I said, while we add that wood flavor to it. And I would probably check it in about 10 minutes, see how it's doing. All right, y'all, 10 minutes in, most of the smoke has subsided from the wood chunks, so hopefully they did their job and imparted some nice smoke flavor onto the tri-tip. We are sitting at about 450 degrees, but never fear, everything's gonna be all right. Let's go ahead and give it a flip. Cooking up nicely. I don't think it's time to take its temperature just yet. Just by touching it here, I can kind of feel it's not probably even close to being ready yet. So yeah, let's go another 10 minutes and then see where we're at. All right, y'all, let's take a look, see what we got. 20 minutes in. Oh, yeah, it's looking nice. Doesn't feel like it's quite there yet, but let's take its temperature just for the heck of it, see where we're at. Oh yeah, we're only at like 110. So yeah, we're gonna go another 5 minutes and we'll see where we're at. All right, another 5 minutes in. Total cooking time now is 25 minutes. Let's see what we got. Looking real nice. Let's take its temp again, although I'm gonna guess we might need another 5 minutes, which will make 30 minutes total cooking time. Yeah, we're gonna do 5 more minutes and then I think it'll be time to sear. All right, y'all, 30 minutes in, which honestly is about the average cooking time of a tri-tip, and let's see where we're at on the internal temp. Yeah, we're sitting at about 127, so this is ready to sear. Let's go ahead and move it over. And you're gonna do about a minute, minute and a half per side. All right, let's flip it over. Once again, about a minute, maybe a minute and a half at the most. You can put the lid back on if you want, although at this point it's not really necessary. You can also check it too, basically flip it over, take a peek. Oh yeah, I think that looks good. Check that out. Let's check the internal temp. We are sitting at about 132, about perfect. This will carry over to about 135, maybe a little bit more. And this will be ready to go. So let's go ahead and put it on a cutting board and let it rest for 15 minutes. All right, y'all, let's recap what we did real quick. Got ourselves a tri-tip. We trimmed off the excess fat and the fat cap on the bottom. Then we used some Big Jake's Santa Maria style rub on it, or tri-tip rub. Let it sit in a food saver bag overnight. Fired up the Weber Kettle, got it nice and hot, 400 degrees, with all of the lump charcoal on one side. Put the Santa Maria tri-tip on the other side. Wood chunks on top of the coals. Basically let it cook for 30 minutes. You can flip it every 15 minutes, every 10, every 5, however you kind of want to do it. Just make sure it doesn't burn. After that 30 minutes, we then seared it 1 minute on each side. Internal temp when we were all done was about 132, and this is pretty much going to be a foolproof or tried and true way to reverse sear a tri-tip. Now with all that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at it and cut into it. All right, y'all, take a look at that. Looks really nice. By the way, this thing rested for about 15 minutes. Let's go ahead and cut into it. That's right, downstrom knife, baby. Get it on my Amazon store. Another quick tri-tip tip basically is that the grain on these run 2 different ways. As you can see, there's a grain here, and then right about here, it turns this way. And you always want to cut your meat against the grain. And one thing I've noticed on these tri-tips is a lot of times right where that fat pocket is that we cut out, that's right where it switches. So this is kind of my guide, and what I do is I cut right down the middle like that. Then we will take this side. Again, the grain runs this way. Cut against the grain. By the way, these little pieces here on the end will usually be a little more done. If you have guests who like their meat a little more done, give them one of these ends here. You can also cook this, you know, to like 125 if you want before the sear, and then sear it, get to 130. You will have more of a rare tri-tip. I personally like medium rare on my tri-tip. I think it comes out better, just my personal opinion. You can hear the crust when I cut into it, but then the inside of it, and then as you can see, nice and juicy in the middle. Super juicy. Should pull right apart. Let's take a taste. Oh yeah, that is the business. It's smoky, it's juicy. can taste the wood, you can taste the rub. Oh man, you can like taste the bark from the sear. This thing is amazing and super easy to do as well. I also like to take these little pieces right here from the end and I call them tri-tip burn ends. Oh yeah, really nice. All right, and again, here's your other half. As you can see, the grain is running this way, so we want to cut against the grain. I do maybe 1/4 inch slices, somewhere around there. Then when you get to these end pieces here, you do more of those tri-tip burn ends like this. All right, y'all, so here are the two different pieces. This is the one side, got the other side. Now for me personally, out of these two sides, and I can't tell you why, but I think this side of the tri-tip is more tender, just my personal opinion. So yeah, there you have it, folks. Super easy way to reverse sear a tri-tip on your Weber Kettle. I'll give you guys a close-up shot. My name is Odeed and I'm out. Peace.